Imagine this. You've spent years dreaming of a better life in America. You've worked hard, followed the rules, maybe even waited years in line just to get here. You've built a family, had a child born right here on U.S. soil, and now, suddenly, that child might not be a U.S. citizen. Not because you did anything wrong, but because the rules are changing. And if you think that can't happen, if you believe your child's birthright to American citizenship is guaranteed forever, then you need to listen very carefully, because what I'm about to tell you could change everything. This is not fear-mongering. This is not speculation. This is breaking immigration news, and it's happening right now in 2024, with major updates already taking shape for 2025 that could directly affect your family, your future, and yes, your child's citizenship. What we are seeing is a potential shift in how the United States defines and grants birthright citizenship, one of the most fundamental principles of American law. And if you're pregnant, you have a newborn, you're planning to give birth in the U.S., or you're a non-citizen living here with children, this is information you cannot afford to ignore. Let me be absolutely clear. Right now, under the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, anyone born on U.S. soil is automatically a U.S. citizen, regardless of their parents' immigration status. That has been the law of the land for over 150 years. It is the foundation of what we call jus soli, the right of the soil. It's why millions of immigrant families have felt safe giving birth in America. It's why so many people believe that having a child here is a path, however indirect, to stability and opportunity. But in 2025, that could all be at risk. Now, before you panic, let's break this down step by step, because there's a lot to understand, and your ability to respond depends on how much you know and how quickly you act. This isn't just about babies being born. This is about the future of immigration policy in the United States, the interpretation of constitutional rights, political pressure, court cases, and administrative decisions that could redefine what it means to be born an American. So what exactly is happening? Reports are growing louder and more alarming about efforts by certain political groups and even some government officials to reinterpret or even challenge the 14th Amendment's guarantee of birthright citizenship. While no official law has been passed yet to end birthright citizenship outright, we are seeing early-stage legislative proposals, legal memos, and policy discussions that strongly suggest the federal government may soon attempt to limit who qualifies for automatic citizenship at birth. And make no mistake, these are not just political talking points. These are real discussions happening inside the halls of power, and they are moving fast. In early 2024, multiple news outlets and legal analysts reported that the Department of Homeland Security and even some members of Congress were quietly reviewing the legal basis for birthright citizenship, particularly in cases where the parents are undocumented immigrants or are in the U.S. on temporary visas. While birthright citizenship has always applied regardless of the parent's status, there is now a coordinated effort to question whether that should continue to be the case. And 2025 is shaping up to be the year where those questions may turn into action. Now, let's talk about what this actually means for you and your family. If you are a non-citizen living in the United States, whether you're here on a visa without status or you're waiting for your green card, and you are pregnant or planning to have a child, you need to understand that the place of birth may no longer guarantee U.S. citizenship for your baby. If new policies go into effect, your child could be born in the United States and still not be recognized as a U.S. citizen. That means no U.S. passport, no automatic right to live and work in America, no access to public schools or benefits the way citizen children do. And in some cases, it could even complicate your own immigration process or your ability to stay in the country. Let me say that again. Your child could be born in the United States, in a hospital, under American skies, and still not be a U.S. citizen. That is not the America we've known. That is not the promise that millions came here believing in. But it is a reality that is looming on the horizon, and you need to be prepared. And it's not just about babies. This issue goes far beyond maternity wards. It affects families, it affects your long-term plans, it affects whether you decide to have a child in the US or abroad. It affects your immigration strategy, your sense of security, and your future in this country. If you've been waiting years to become a citizen, or you're fighting to keep your green card, or you're trying to adjust your status through marriage or work, this issue could change the entire landscape of your immigration journey. Now let's take a step back for a moment and look at how we got here. Birthright citizenship is rooted in the 14th Amendment, which was ratified in 1868, right after the Civil War. It was created to ensure that formerly enslaved people and their descendants were recognized as full citizens under the law. The exact wording says, "All persons born or naturalized in the United States, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside." For over a century, that has been interpreted to mean that if you are born on U.S. soil, you are a citizen, period. But now, critics, mostly from certain political corners, argue that the phrase "subject to the jurisdiction thereof" excludes undocumented immigrants or people who are not legally residing in the U.S. They claim that because those individuals are not fully under U.S. jurisdiction, their children should not automatically be granted citizenship. This interpretation has been widely rejected by courts for decades, but that hasn't stopped the conversation from resurfacing with renewed force in 2024. And here's where it gets even more urgent. We are seeing early signs that the current administration, or possibly the next one, may be open to revisiting this issue. Whether through executive action, legal challenges, or legislative changes, the pressure is building. Some lawmakers have already introduced bills that would limit birthright citizenship to children with at least one parent who is a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident. Other proposals suggest creating new bureaucratic hurdles that could delay or deny citizenship for children born to undocumented parents. Now, none of these proposals have become law yet, but the fact that they are being discussed so openly and that some government agencies are actively reviewing their legal options is a flashing red warning sign for every immigrant family in America. You need to pay attention. You need to understand what's at stake. And most importantly, you need to know what you can do right now to protect your family. So, what can you do? First and foremost, if you have a child who was born in the United States, do not assume that their citizenship is at risk today. Right now, under current law, your U.S.-born child is a citizen. They have all the rights and protections that come with that citizenship. But if you are planning to have another child, or if you are considering giving birth in the U.S. in the near future, you need to stay informed. Watch this channel, check official government sources, and most importantly, be ready to adapt quickly if the laws change. Second, if you are pregnant and living in the U.S. without legal status, or if you are on a temporary visa, talk to an experienced immigration attorney immediately. Do not wait. Do not rely on rumors or social media posts. Get professional legal advice about your specific situation. Ask about the risks of giving birth in the U.S. versus returning to your home country. Ask about how your child's citizenship status could affect your own immigration options. And ask about what documents you need to prepare, including passports, birth certificates, and consular reports of birth abroad, just in case things change. Third, start thinking about long-term plans. If you've always assumed that having a child in the U.S. would help secure your family's future, you may need to reconsider. If birthright citizenship is restricted, your child could face a very different reality, one where they are not automatically recognized as American, even though they were born here. That could affect their education, their travel, their ability to work in the future, and even your ability to stay together as a family. It's a lot to think about, but you owe it to your children to be prepared. Now let's talk about what you can do right now to protect your own immigration status and stay ahead of these changes. First, always use the official USCIS tools to track your case status. Go to uscis.gov, case status, and enter your receipt number. This will show you exactly where your application stands. whether it's a green card application, a citizenship petition, or a work visa. If you've received a request for evidence, or RFE, respond immediately. Delays and missed deadlines can be devastating, especially in a shifting legal environment. Second, keep your address updated with USCIS. If you move, file Form AR-11 within 10 days. If USCIS sends you something important and it's returned because you moved, you could miss a deadline, lose your case, or even face deportation. It's that serious. Third, if you're planning to travel outside the U.S., make sure you understand the rules around advance parole and re-entry. If you're in the middle of an immigration process, like adjusting status or waiting for a green card, leaving the country without the proper paperwork can result in being denied re-entry. Advance parole is not just a travel document. It's a legal permission slip that ties directly to your immigration case. Don't risk it. Fourth, stay on top of the Visa Bulletin. Every month, the U.S. Department of State releases the Visa Bulletin, which tells you where your priority date stands in the immigration queue. If you're waiting for a green card through family or employment, this is your lifeline. Watch it closely, share it with your family, and if you don't understand it, ask someone who does, or watch our videos where we break it down every single month. And finally, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're not sure what to do next, or if you've received a scary letter from USCIS, don't wait. Reach out for help. Find a licensed immigration attorney. Contact a nonprofit legal aid organization. Do not try to navigate the immigration system alone, especially now when the rules are changing so quickly. Look, I know this is a lot to take in. I know it's frightening. I know some of you are watching this video and feeling like the ground is shifting under your feet. But I also want you to know this: you are not alone. You are not powerless. And as long as you stay informed, as long as you take action, as long as you fight for your family and your future, you have a chance to succeed in this country. Birthright citizenship has been one of the greatest promises of America. The idea that anyone, no matter where they come from, can bring their child into the world on American soil and know that they will have a fair shot at life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We cannot let that promise be taken away without a fight. And the first step in that fight is knowledge, awareness, preparation. So please, like this video. Subscribe to Immigration News Today. Turn on notifications so you never miss an update. And leave a comment below. Tell me what you're worried about. Ask your questions. Let me know what immigration topics you want us to cover next. Because your voice matters. Your story matters. And your future in America depends on staying informed. Thank you for watching. Stay strong, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.